the benefits. Yeah, so this is the benefit of using technology, in reaching out to people or in organizing programs like this. So it gives people the opportunity to join far and wide, and then helps connect different touch points at different points in time. All right. So firstly, I will want to say thank you to the organizer, Ms. Theodora, for you know, I see. Okay, I see. Thank you for Ms. Theodora for this opportunity of inviting me to be a part of this program. I'm sorry, I might not be that audible. Um, like Miss Theodora said, it's actually 3 a.m. now. It's 3:05. Okay, 3:10 already here in Hong Kong, and everybody is sleeping. I um I might be heard by my people, and my daughter is sleeping. I don't want to really wake her up, so that's why I'm speaking a little bit lower this way, and that's why I'm using this also. All right, I'm using the earpiece. Okay, so but can you let me know if it's a bit clear now? Is it okay now? Can I shoot now? Okay, great. Um, okay, maybe another thing I can do is to hold it this way so that yeah, okay. Thank you so much. All right, so like I said, thank you for Miss Theodora for inviting me to be part of this program. I'm always joyous to come on board on this kind of programs as occasion serves me. And the reason being that I believe that uh, entrepreneurship is a very major ingredient in, you know, in economic development, national development, and in elevating people, in solving challenges for people. So we need entrepreneurs. And then every opportunity that uh, we have to talk about entrepreneurship always delights me. It always delights me. And this is why I'm here today. And I believe that we will all have a great time together. So the topic that I'm going to be talking about is building sustainable business during economic recession or during recession. All right. And then we are having a practical solution for navigating these business challenges in Nigeria. So, the agenda for today is that I'll do introduction. I'll talk about understanding inflation and recession. Then I'll talk about the impact of recession on businesses. Then a case study. Then we have a final tips and takeaway, and then the practical session. Now, if you do anything, okay, if you're not listening to anything I am going to be saying, all right, this part, final tips and takeaway, it's very important. All right, very, very important in everything I'm going to be saying today. So I want you to pay attention to that part. All right. So then introduction. I've been introduced already. All right. My name is Fatile Ayobami Joshua. I'm dynamic, dedicated, and result-oriented professional. I am actually uh, uh, human capital and entrepreneurship consultant or business consultant, as the case may be. And I help several people to help them to position themselves in their industry, to differentiate and position themselves so that they can be more competitive. Like you read, I've written 2 books, and then the third one is already in progress, which is the Feedback Revolution. So Feedback Revolution is about how um, entrepreneurs or startups can use feedback to increase their performance, innovation, and then to achieve whatever goals and to build trust. Okay, build performance, build trust to support innovation. So that is what I'm trying to capture in Feedback Revolution. All right. So first, understanding the recession. When we talk about recession and inflation, what do we mean? Okay, because these are the terms that we first need to understand for us to be able to really understand, how do we approach business in this time of business cycle. All right, so there's something we call a business cycle. A business cycle is when we have the economic boom and then the economic downturn or downturn. Right. So the economic boom is a boom is a situation where we have a lot of economic growth where things are happening fast. There is employment is high, inflation is low, and there is, everybody is happy in the economy. Investment, companies are investing, the government is spending more, and then everybody is just happy and in the economy. But then when this happens, it always gets to a point where it peaks. And then when it peaks, it then starts to decline. And then when it declines, that's when we are saying that we are going into the economic downturn. And then if this economic downturn is not well managed, it can lead to a recession. And one of the challenges or one of the features of economic downturn is inflation. All right. And of course, if this inflation is not well managed, then it leads to recession. All right. We'll talk more about that. So what is inflation? Of course, inflation is the consistent or persistent rising in the price level of goods and services in a particular country over a period of time. All right. And then it is typically measured based on, like I said, price. So how do we measure inflation? Is the price of goods and services keep increasing, okay, which also increase the cost of living for the people in a country. All right. And economics, we always say that although inflation is not that it's not that good, it is also not that bad. All right. All right. Inflation is not actually that bad. So there's a level of inflation that an economic must experience. And this is why inflation can never be equal to zero, all right, in an economy. Right? At least you should have a single digit inflation lower than 5%. That is a moderate inflation, all right? Not a crazy kind of inflation that we have in Nigeria. I've been why making up this slide, and then the news that I've been listening to and at different points in time, we can see that inflation in Nigeria is about around 33 point something percent. In fact, as of today, what I read is that inflation of imported food, okay, imported food prices, the inflation is 42.3%, which is very, very crazy, astronomically crazy. All right. So in Nigeria, this is a bad thing. It is too much. And this type of inflation should not actually be, be seen. All right. So, but then there is a level of inflation, like I mentioned, relatively high, less than 5%, which is necessary for an economy to grow. If there's no inflation in the economy, then it means the economy will not grow. So if you want to, generally, if you want to actually understand inflation, what you should understand inflation as is that you have too much money chasing fewer goods. And when we have too much money chasing fewer goods, then that's when people should be more productive, right? So this is why inflation, a little bit of inflation leads to economic growth, because when we have too much money in the circulation, that's when people will be able, to produce. But it doesn't also stop there. Okay. So it doesn't stop there. All right. Now, what about recession? Recession is generally defined as a significant decline in economic activity which spread across economic and lasting more than a few months. All right. So basically, economists actually defined a recession as a period of time where the economy is going down for two consecutive quarters. All right. So we know we have 3 quarters in a year. Right. So when you have the business cycle going down for two consecutive quarter one and quarter two, or quarter two and quarter three, then you just say that this economic is officially in a recession. Right. So soon you'll be hearing, which you have always heard. Yeah, the economy is going into a recession. We're going into a recession. What that means is that there's a significant decline in economic activities for two consecutive quarters, right? And this is typically recognized or measured by a fall in GDP. When we say GDP, we are meaning that the gross domestic product, the fall of income, that is fall in employment, manufacturing also will fall, and then retail activities will also fall. Then it is often accompanied by a general decrease in consumer and business confidence. All right. So in this case, when everything is going downwards, all right, so individuals will lose confidence in the economy, businesses will lose confidence in the economy, and then this will lead to a lower spending and investment. All right. So household, you as an individual, you don't want to spend your hand-earned money just anyhow. You know, you know, you want to, so in this type of situation, you see people want to save more. All right. People want to save more. People want to conserve what they have. They don't want to spend the money they have so that they can, yeah, get by the economic recession. Same thing for businesses. Businesses also want to operate on a lean budget, or you get on a tight budget. They don't want to spend too much so that they can survive the recessionary period. All right. And this is the situation for recession. All right. So when we talk about recession, we have something we call the recession cycle. How does a recession actually occur? Okay. How does inflation leads to a recession, or how does an economy actually enters into a recession? So first we have is that we have the initial situation. So what is the initial situation? The initial situation is that there is an increase in the price level, like what we're having in Nigeria, all right? So that will be first an increase in the price level. Consumers, the price of goods and services will increase, the cost of production will increase, so people will be spending more on goods and services, all right? So this is the initial thing. So we have uh, more money for pursuing fewer goods. That is the initial situation that we will always have before we get into a recession. And then the central bank in the company or in the country will then respond to this too much money in circulation. So for the central banks to want to remove too much money in circulation so that the inflation can balance a little bit, then the central bank will increase interest rates. All right. So in economics, we always say that the movement of inflation and interest rates will always be an negative correlated, meaning that when inflation is up, then we need to lower the interest rate. All right. Or so when inflation is up, we need to increase the interest rate so that when we increase the interest rate, then it means that it will discourage people from borrowing. It will discourage companies from borrowing. And then when borrowing is being discouraged, then there will be less spending. All right. There will be less amount of money in circulation, right? So this is the aim of the central bank of, for example, of Nigeria in this case. And then the central bank, we want to increase the interest rate such that people will not spend more. And then when the interest rate is increased, then we go into the consequence, which means that people will not spend more. Companies will not want to spend, all right? And then there will be no investment in investment activity. There will be zero innovation or less innovation, and when this happens, it then results in a draggy economy. Right, so the economy becomes slow. Everything becomes slow at a slow pace, and this will lead to another initial situation which the central bank has to deal with, and then there will be consequence, and then another negative cycle. In fact, this is the correct or the true picture of what is happening in Nigeria right now. Right. So we know that in Nigeria, for instance, the situation is that there is a rising fuel price, and then the food cost increases, right? And then food costs have strained household budgets. So people don't want to spend because they know that there is a general increase in price level, and then food cost has increased. So people do not want to spend. And then the Central Bank of Nigeria will then decide to step in and raise inflation rate, right? So they raise inflation rate to manage the inflation. I mean, they raise the interest rate to manage the inflation and then reduce the consumer spending and investment. Right. So, like I mentioned, when the inflation rate is increased, then there will be consumer spending will reduce, and then businesses will also not invest. So this is exemplary. This is an exemplifying a recession within an inflationary context, which is the situation that we have in Nigeria right now. Right. So this scenario illustrates how inflation and the recession can coexist, which create economic challenges. Okay, it creates economic conditions that require careful navigation by businesses and by policymakers. Right. So and this is how it is in almost every country. All right. The only difference is that there have been structures in place, there have been systems in place that helps other most developed countries to manage their inflation rate. All right. This system is what we are lacking in African countries, and that's why it always gets worse when we have inflation. You always get worse, and then we go into a recession quite often. Okay, in most African countries, and so what is this? What does this mean for you as a business owner or as someone who wants to go into business? What does the inflation and the recession period, what does it mean for you? No, don't forget, I said when we are in an economic boom, we see business start, business pop up, and a lot of big businesses get to relax when the economy is going great. But in a recession period, businesses tighten their pocket, tighten their budget, and then they spend less. All right. And then in this situation, this kind of situation, do you think it's a good time to start a business? The answer is yes. In fact, it is even much more better to start a business, okay, in a recessionary period than when we have the up cycle in the economy. And the reason is based on the impact of this recession on businesses. All right. Because which, like I said, in the up cycle in an economy, most big businesses or medium businesses get to relax because money is coming in with little effort they are putting in. And this is when you see a lot of business pipe down on their marketing activity. You see a lot of business pipe down on innovation, because they are getting results. Some of them might not want to innovate. And then the ones who are not long-term thinkers, they might not want to innovate. And then at that point in time, when recession hits, then it hits them so hard. All right. So in that case, most of them can go out of business. And when they go out of business, then it means that there are other businesses that are supposed to be producing these essential goods that those businesses who are going out of business should be producing in the first place. So because of that, you see that it's a good time for you to get into business and many more like that. So I'm just painting the picture to you to let you see that in a recessionary period, this is one of the greatest opportunity that an individual can have to start his or her own business. So Miss Theodora mentioned like when I came in that one of the things you should do is to change your mindset. You should know the news that you listen to. It's very critical. In fact, it's one of the points that I'm going to be mentioning later in this slide. You have to be careful of what you listen to. Everybody is shouting tipping, 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 tipping. The obvious is that is the obvious issue. This is the challenges that everybody is facing. But if you keep your mind and your focus on, you know, the challenges that you're having on ground, you will miss out on the opportunity that is embedded in it. And you know what? In every problem, there's actually an opportunity for you to start something. There's always an opportunity that is embedded in a problem. And then if you focus your mind on the challenge, then it means that you will miss out on the opportunity that is embedded in the problem. All right. And we know that businesses is nothing but solving problem for all people who have, a problem solving a problem for people on a large scale. All right. If you want to make big time business, you solve problem for people on a large scale. And this problem, these people you are solving with the problem for, they have a deep pocket that they want to pay you for the problem you're solving for them. And that's what business is all about solving problem for people and taking value out of the problem you're solving for them. Anyways, what are the impact of business of recession on businesses? I have 8 impacts here, which are decreased consumer spending, increased operational cost, limited access to credit, supply chain disruption, increased competition for consumers, employee layoff and moral issues, then reduced investment capability, and then the last one will be a reluctance to innovate. You see, these are all the challenges that every single firm, both big businesses and small companies face when there is a recession. All right. And each of these, in as much as they are challenges, it provides you the opportunity to actually get into the business space. All right. I will give you details about each of them later. But right now, let's go into find out um, like a case study. Now, so the Harvard Business School did a study of over 4,700 businesses. Okay. And here is what they found. So they try to study these businesses globally during a global recession. And then when they study the businesses during a global recession, these are the statistics that they found. All right. It says 17% of these businesses did not survive. All right. Which is it shouldn't be a new statistic to you. All right. We say that you know more than half of businesses failed in their first year. Okay. Now this is a recessionary period. 17% of the businesses that were studied out of the 4,700 actually failed, did not survive the recessionary period. 80 were still catching up to their pre-recessionary strength 3 years after the economic had recovered. So what does this mean? It means that after the recessionary period is over, the recession does not last forever. It only lasts for a particular period of time. Now, after recession has gone, okay, before recession, let's say a company is operating at, producing, for example, let's say you have a poultry, okay, you have a poultry farm that you produce chicken, and every time you do a cycle of production, you are able to produce, let's say, 1,000 chickens or 1,000 hens, 1,000 birds. So that's the term people in poultry use. So you are able to produce 1,000 birds at every cycle that you do. That's the normal production rate for you. Now, recession hits, and then you have to cut cost, because normally that's the first thing that businesses want to do when they get into recession. They want to cut their cost. So you cut your cost, and then now you're producing 500 birds. All right. So at every production cycle that you have, you produce 500 birds because of recession. Now, after recession is gone, then now normally if recession is gone, then you're supposed to go back to producing, at least if nothing changes, go back to what you're producing before the recession, which is 1,000 birds. Now, it means that 80% of companies, okay, do not get to produce 1,000 birds after the recession is gone. All right. So they produce less than 1,000, say 800 birds. All right. So this then should give you an insight into the fact that there are something that this type of company are doing during the recession that makes them to go down and never gets back to what they were doing or recovered from the recession period. All right. So then businesses aggressively slash spending without strategically investing in their business growth. And this is why they did not perform well. All right. They slashed their spending, and this affects their business growth. So they slash their spending during the recession period, and then they never get to the production when they were producing before recession. And you know what? Recession will come again. All right. Like someone was describing recession, he said recession is like giving birth. All right. As a mother, when you're newly married, you are expected to give birth, right? So if you and maybe you plan to have two kids or you plan to have three kids, then it means that you are going to have a cycle, this type of cycle in at least at three different points in time. All right. So you give birth in the first place. All right. And then the period of giving birth, the newborn, the infant phase, and then you go to the toddler phase, and then you go back to giving birth again. That is the way recession is. Recession will come and then it will go. Or what happens to your business after recession has come and go. Then we can see that only 9% of brands manage to grow through recession. All right, only 9% of brands manage to grow through recession. So how do these type of businesses, how do they do it? So these are the things we want to, find out. So the first one we say about, which is the, impact of recession of business, we want to find what are the practical solutions. How do you approach this kind of problem? What are the sustainable way for you to approach this kind of problem as a business? Or even if you are just starting out your business, whatever business you want to start, you want to start a pottery, you want to start, a trading firm, you want to start a retail shop, or you want to start a tailoring outfit, or you want to start whatever it is that you want to start. Okay, how can you approach this kind of problem in a recessionary period to use it as an opportunity for you to enter into the business space? All right. So first, as a decreased spending, of course, we know decreased spending means that higher inflation erodes your purchasing power, and then it causes consumer to cut costs on the non-essential spending. So this demand reduction can then lead to lower revenue for businesses. So in this case, we are talking about lower revenue for businesses because consumers are not spending much. So whatever business you are doing right now, if you're a freelancer, okay, you're a freelancer, for example, maybe you're a digital, a digital creator, a content creator, and then there's a recession, and then nobody is partnering with you to be able to advertise their business on your platform. This is because there is inflation, all right? People are spending on non-essential they are spending on only essential things. Every non-essential as far as they are concerned, which is what a normal business a normal individual would do, they have to scratch it out. All right. So how do you mitigate on this? As a business, for you as a business, what you need to do is to focus on the essential. All right. You focus on what are the essential. The essentials are the must have, the things that your business must do for it to survive. All right. That's what you want to focus on as a business. And at the same time, you want to focus on consumer engagement. You see, one of the major things that I mentioned before is that at the upcycle in an economy, all right, businesses tend to relax. But this is not the actual time to relax. There are two things for a business that you're supposed to be doing. There's a branding, and then there is a marketing plan that business are supposed to be doing in and out of cycle. Whether you are in up cycle or you are in a down cycle in an economy. But a lot of businesses, when they get to the up cycle, because they do not need to do so much for revenue to come in, for them to be able to have um, inflow of cash, then they tend to relax on their branding. Okay, so what is branding? Branding is you uh, positioning yourself in the mind of your consumers, in the mind of your clients. How does your client see you? Okay, how do they see you? Okay, when you mention a particular product, are you part of the people they think about? All right, are you the first person they think about when they talk about a particular product or when they talk about a particular service? That is branding. Why marketing is you converting your prospect into paying customer. All right, that's what marketing does, or that's what marketing is. Why branding is helping you to position your business or your brand in the mind of your consumer, or how you are shaping how your consumers or how your clients will see you. That is branding. All right. So these two things, branding strategy or planning and marketing planning or marketing strategy, should go hand in hand at every point in time. All right. And this will help you to engage your customer. All right. And this should be part of your essential as a business. All right. So you should do more of this. Then the next thing will be the increase in cost of operation. Of course, like we have mentioned, when there is inflation, then there will be increase in the cost of raw materials, there will increase in the cost of labor, there will be increase in the cost of utility. Jokingly, I heard President Tinubu said that household should be switching off their lights to avoid paying higher utility bill. That's one of the way to cope with the situation of the things in Nigeria. And at the same time, he jokingly mentioned something. He said he knows a friend who brags that he has 5 Rolls Royce. All right. So that when he met him before he became the president, all right, where he was doing campaign, he met this guy, and then this guy was using 5 Rolls Royce. And then after he became the president, recently he saw the guy, and then the guy was driving and under. He said he asked him that what happened to your 5 Rolls Royce? He said that his friend said, okay, this is how where you have put me. He said, I am not the one who put you there. It just helps you to be able to be conservative. Okay. Why we want to say that, we want to see the bad side to that, we also want to see the good side to that. That person is trying to manage his cost, okay? And then the president is trying to tell us how to manage our cost efficiently. It shouldn't be the case, but this is the reality, all right? And every business at that point must survive. Every individual at that point must survive, all right? So how do you mitigate an increase in operation cost? You should, that should be cost efficiency, all right? And then you should invest in technology. So what do we mean by cost efficiency? You should conduct operational audits so that you can identify which what to reduce, how to renegotiate, whether you need to renegotiate your contract with your supplier, or you can implement an energy saving measure to lower your utility bill. For example, if you are selling, say, agricultural products, and then you see, let me use the poultry again as an example. Now, if you want to start a poultry, you need to at least buy the chicks, all right, the chickens. Let's say, like I mentioned before, you do 1,000 birds. Now, the truth of the matter is that the person who is doing a poultry farm that has that parts of the segment of the poultry business, who does the laying, the egg hatching of eggs, probably doesn't have people coming around to buy a lot of chicks from him at that point in time, because it's a recessionary period. So like I mentioned, a business that is doing 1,000 birds before the inflation starts, or the recession starts, is now doing 500. So that is already cutting in half what a business does as uh, on a normal day. All right. So it means that other businesses might want to do that also. So it means the person who is actually hatching the egg doesn't have a lot of demand. All right. So that's a problem for the person. Now, if you are going because you've planned ahead, or because you have a long-term thinking, all right, because you are thinking a long-term as a business owner, so you know that inflation is going to come and inflation is going to go. All right. So you are thinking long term. So instead of you reducing the amount of birds that you want to buy, you still want to keep your production cycle normal. All right. So you decide to go ahead and buy 1,000 birds. So at that point in time, you can renegotiate your contract with that type of your supplier. That, okay, now you see, I know that things are hard right now. This is what I've been buying before. So if I buy 1,000 birds, okay, normally I buy them for 1,500 per one, even at 1,000 pieces. Is it possible that I get a reduced amount in the supplier of this chick? At that point in time, you have a higher negotiation power. And this is one of the reasons why it is always good to start your business during a recessionary period. All right. If you can have the capital to start your business, or if you want to grow your business with the capital that you have during a recessionary period, you can always negotiate your contract better than what you can do when the business is booming. Because when the business is booming, they will tell you, oh, if you can't buy that 1,500, thank you, you can go. Another customer is coming to buy them. But in a recessionary period, the supplier doesn't have someone who's going to come. So if it doesn't sell to you, it might probably not sell throughout that period. So definitely he wants to do business with you, and then you can renegotiate it. So this is one of the reasons why it is good to start a business during the recession period. And then you need to invest in technology. So you should invest in technology that helps you to manage your operations efficiently. All right, so to improve your business. Okay, that's what you should do. Invest in technology that can help you to reduce your cost of labor, or reduce your overhead expenses, or that can help you to survive in the long run. Okay. That the next one is that there will be limited access to credit, in the sense that you will have less access to you have less access to finances, you have less access to capital. All right. So recession period often results in a tighter lending condition from the banks. The banks doesn't want to lend money out, because they know they are conservative at that point in time. They are trying to conserve the amount of capital that they have. So, and because business are struggling, and at that point, so it's hard for you to obtain capital. So how do you mitigate these type of things? So one thing is to build a relationship with the financial institution. Okay, build a relationship with the financial institution. If you know how to relate, how to network very well, this is a very good opportunity to actually get you know a good deal a good deal to have capital, most especially if you want to grow your business. So another way is to, establish a good relationship with or source for alternative lender. And this is one of the reasons why you should do, if as a small business owner in Nigeria, that's why I will always encourage you should do a savings, a target savings, whether through a cooperative. Okay, when you are having a lot of sales, when you're having a lot of revenue, one of the way you should do as you're investing back into your business, you should always save for the raining day. Okay, the days when things will not go the way they're supposed to go. And when you're doing this, for example, say you're saving in a cooperative, then at that point in time, you can go to the cooperative, you can approach the cooperative. A lot of people would not want to do that at that point in time, all right? Because they are either cutting into what they are actually doing as a business line, or for you, because you know that you're a long-term thinker, then you can go ahead and ask for more money to increase or expand your business operation, to consolidate on what you have already been doing that you have mastered at the upcycle. And if you are going into business newly, all right, at that point in time, it's always a good way to bootstrap your business. I mean, to use your own capital, to use your own income or the money you saved already to start your business at that point in time, because you will be able to get your raw materials at a cheaper rate compared to when there is a boom in the economy. All right. So another thing is to use the invoice financing. So what do we mean by invoice financing? Invoice financing means that you know if you receive an order, for example, a large scale order. So I was watching a documentary lately. There's someone who started a coffee business, right? So she started a coffee business, and then before COVID-19 hits, she was working on this coffee business. So she she would she quit her job already at that point in time and then started the coffee business. And then while she was working on this coffee business, COVID-19 happened. When COVID-19 happened, she was thinking that is the end of her business because she just started her business. She just launched her business not quite long before COVID-19 happened. But then, while she was struggling, to keep her heads up in the business, then a large order came for her during the COVID-19. A large order came for her and to supply a retail store. All right. So now, because this is a large order and then she cannot be able to finance the large order is there, all right, the order is there already, so she took this like the proposal and then use it to raise funds. All right, so that is invoice financing. Like you take the order you have, you take it to your supplier and say, okay, this is the order that I have. If you give me this thing, if you supply this thing for me, I will be able to finance this coffee demand that I have, and if I finance the coffee demand that I have, I'll give you this particular amount. But of course, at that point in time, there might be some renegotiation that, oh, okay, if if you are doing this kind of arrangement, if you are paying me based on this kind of arrangement, then I have to hedge my risk, and you are paying me a little bit more. Okay. The most important thing is that you get the finance you need to increase your business operation at that point in time, to expand your business operation. So invoice financing is another opportunity or another option you can consider to start your business or to expand your business operations. And also you can consider peer-to-peer lending, which can also be referred to as crowdfunding. All right. So those are the ways you can do it. Another thing is that the supply chain disruption. All right. So let's say, for example, you are a retail business, someone who sells retail stuffs. For example, you say household item that people need every day, the daily item that people need. You sell semo, you sell granite oil, palm oil, all of that kind of a thing. Where do you get your supply from? Okay, how do you get your supply? If, for example, you are based in Abeokuta, right, for example, and then you're doing a retail business. How do you get your supply? Let's say you have to go to Lagos to get your supply or something like that. And then now you know that if you go to Lagos to get your supply, there is an increase in cost of production because you need to do transportation. So transportation has increased astronomically. So in that case, how do you edge against that problem? Right. Probably the way to do this is to, you can patronize other retailer around you. Okay, in as much as probably this retailer has some stock before the inflation happens or before there is an increase in price, all right, or whatever, or for whatever reason, you can always patronize those. The most important thing is that you shift your, supply chain. You try to work around your supply chain such that you do not have to spend so much, you know, to go and buy at the place where you normally buy and then incur a higher transportation cost. So just make sure that you divert your way of sourcing for your product, okay, such that it helps you not to incur a larger amount of cost due to a supply chain disruption. All right, so what you can do in that case is that you buy from the people around you and then you can have what to sell. All right, so you sell, and then maybe later, if you then have, that it is time for you to consolidate at that point in time, you can then go to buy where you normally buy at a larger bulk, okay, in bulk, or you buy larger pieces so that you do not incur so much cost, or you can be able to spread the cost across all the other product that you buy. All right. So another way in this case that you can you know mitigate this risk of supply chain is that you can buy in bulk. Okay, you can buy in a larger quantity, and this is what we refer to as economic of scale. But if you have not been saving as a business, or if you don't have a portion of your income or a portion of the revenue you have had before, if you don't have them saved, then it means that you might not have access to credit. This problem might be there. You might not have access to credit to buy in a large scale. But if you have been saving before, or if you are opportune to have access to a large amount of credit or capital, then you can go ahead and buy in a large scale. So if you buy in a large scale, then you can spread your cost on the unit of output that you are buying, and that can reduce cost for you. So you can diversify your supplier, or you can source your product locally. All right, source your product locally. You don't have to go too far so that you don't have to incur the transportation cost. Then another thing is the increase in competition. So when there is a recession, people don't spend so much. And when people are not spending so much, then it means that businesses want to compete on price. This is a very, very bad competition to do. All right. Most especially in any phase, whether it's with a big business or a small business, competing on price is not so good. All right. It's not so much good idea. But this happens mostly when there is a recession, all right? When consumers are not spending, so you want to attract the consumers to your shop. You want to attract the clients to your shops, and then you decide to lower your price. Okay. And when you lower your price, it's by giving discounts, for example, it might affect the loyalty of some of your customers. All right, most especially if you're a business that has already been in operating before the recession. Okay, this might affect the loyalty of your customer, but still, some businesses still go through this route. So, how can you avoid the price competition game? One way to avoid your price competition game is to strengthen your brand, all right? And like I mentioned before, as a business, there is these two element of pushing your business or showcasing your business to your consumer that you should be doing every time, which is to showcase your brand and then to showcase your marketing plan. Follow through on your branding plan, follow through on your marketing plan. Now, if you have been showcasing your brand to people by, by following through on your branding plan or branding strategy, then you should be able to differentiate your brand when there is a recession. All right. And this will help you not to lower your price as much as other businesses would do and then compete on price. All right. So this will help you to avoid price competition because you are differentiated. The buyers know you already. When they mention that kind of product, you are the first person that comes to their mind. They want to buy, so if they want to buy good, they will think of you first. If you are, if for example you're a mechanic, all right. I heard Miss Theodora use this example. He said, why is it that when people want to save people's name, for example, a mechanic, they will say Tunde mechanic, you know? So it's because of the perception of that person to his client. All right. Because if the client wants to call a mechanic, he just type mechanic and then to search. Probably he has a ton of them. But Tunde Mechanic comes first to his or her mind. Then he will pick his phone and call Tunde Mechanic because Tunde Mechanic has positioned his brand to his client such that he leaves a memorable taste for his client. All right. So this is the way to differentiate yourself, by doing by focusing on your unique selling point. Focus on your unique selling point and then treat your customer. You give your consumers, your customers, the best in class service, the best in class product. And if you do this, you will not tend to go into the price competition or price war. Another way is to collaborate and partner with other people. You are already in business. For example, if a digital marketer, all right, or you want to start digital marketing, or you want to start, or you are, for example, a designer. Let's say you're someone who designs, all right? You design, I mean, you do all these flyer design and stuff like that. So this is what you do. This is what you are known for, all right? You are already established in your industry. You are already known as someone who, so maybe like a branding expert. So you're a branding expert, then you can collaborate with another business. In fact, you can collaborate with a digital marketer, or for example, or you can decide, for example, to collaborate with other business, even in another industry entirely. Let's say you design posters, you design flyers, and then you decide to collaborate with the example I've been using before, a farmer, a poultry farmer. How does the collaboration between a poultry farmer and a designer can work? This is the way it can work. You design flyer for the poultry farmer, and then the poultry farmer showcase your design. You help the poultry farmer to have you know um, content to create on his platform, okay, to be able to push his brand as a poultry farmer. And in return, what you get is that you get customers, and then from there the poultry farmer will get to introduce you to other businesses that he knows. Okay, I know this person is the one that runs my campaign, is the one that does this for me, and he's doing it very well. And then you get more customer from partnership with this kind of poultry farmer. And there can be other collaboration, there can be other partnership you can do. But one way to mitigate against the increased competition during the time of recession or any period in time is to collaborate with other businesses. All right. Another way is employee layoff and more rate. All right. So in a time of recession, businesses learn to cut costs by decreasing the number of staff. So they want to cut deep into the amount of staff they have. This is the time they realize that, oh, the people that are operating, the people in this aspect of our business are too much. So we need to reduce them. We need to reduce the amount of money we are paying, stuff like that. And when they're doing that, instead of doing this, what you can do is that you can create a flexible working arrangement, or you can train your staffs, okay, train them to be able to be more efficient so that you can produce much more than they are already been producing, all right, so that you don't need to, lay them off. All right. And because you know that if you lay them off and then let's say the recession is over and you need to increase your operations, then you need to hire them back. And of course, you need to spend much more in advertising, the time cost it will cost you, and even the finances you're going to spend in getting them back in advertising, in getting the new workers. So for you to be able to avoid this, you just need to invest for the long term by investing in the training of your staff or even yourself as an entrepreneurship. And that is why I am appreciating the fact that some of you, uh, all of you are here, for this training. This training is going to start serve as a way, is a training for you to be able to know what to do during a recession period, how you can start your business. And then the seventh one is the reduce um, investment capability. People don't want to spend, businesses don't want to invest, and then what you can do is to do lean innovation. You need to innovate rapidly, test your idea rapidly, and then you prioritize projects that can deliver the highest return with lower upfront costs. You don't spend too much before you push your products to the market. All right. You don't waste too much time, you don't waste too much effort, you don't spend too much money on a product testing before you push it to the market. You just push it to the market and then you iterate. That is, you tend to change what is not you think the consumers are complaining about in your product. And another thing you can do is to explore grants and also funding from other sources if you are having issues with investment. And then lastly is the reluctance to innovate. If you are reluctant to innovate because at the point of recession, okay, there's a negative economic outlook already, and this type of negative economic outlook we will not allow you to be able to innovate. We stifle your innovation as a business. So, and this will make you to not focus on growth. You just want to focus on survival. You just want to survive. So at that point, what you need to do is to allocate a small portion of your budget for innovation. This is very critical, right? It's very, very important. And then you need to engage in market research. This also is very important, right? So if you are engaging in market research, then you will know what it is that your businesses, that your consumers or your clients are actually looking for at the time of a recession. Because if you don't know what they're looking for, then you don't know what you need to push much more. Okay, if you have different product line, all right, like I mentioned, let's say you're a retailer. Okay, you sell granules, you sell granite oil, you sell vegetable, you sell palm oil, you sell noodles, you sell semolina, and all of those kind of a thing. You want to know what it is that your consumers will be willing to consume more at that point in time. And then when they consume, if you know that this is what they consume more at that point in time, then you can know what to do on that kind of product. For example, you will know if you need to go online and do digital marketing on that particular product at that point in time. You don't have to be marketing all the product that you have in your shop at during a recession. You only market the products that you know that your consumers will buy. And the only way you will know is when you do your market research very well. You ask questions from your consumer. What are they what are they consuming at this point in time? How do they spend your money? What do they spend their money on? Stuff like that will help you to know what products you really need to push to your targeted audience. All right. So that's the things you need to do. So let's do a case study. Let me know in the chat box. How many of you, of course, I know most of you will have heard the word Walmart. All right. So, but let me know just for me to be able to know that you guys are still with me. How many of you have heard the word Walmart? Just want to be sure that you guys are still with me. Walmart. Okay, great. Yeah. Two people mentioned that they've heard Walmart before. Any other person, have you heard the word Walmart before? So Walmart is a retail shop, all right? It's a retail shop like ShopRite, all right? Walmart is a retail shop like ShopRite. We don't have Walmart in Nigeria. In fact, we don't even have Walmart in this part of the world, where I reside, all right? So Walmart is mostly a US company or US retail shop. Okay, so now during a time of recession, the Walmart the, was a study was conducted on Walmart by The Economist. There is a media outlet called The Economist. So this they conduct this oh really? Okay, Walmart. Ah, that's interesting. So I heard you have a Walmart in Abuja. That's great. That's great. I didn't know. I didn't know that. All right. So The Economist conducted a study on Walmart during recession. And because of the way Walmart was able to navigate this recessionary period, then the economists use this, okay, as an example of business or what business should be doing during recession. All right. So now, what do they do that makes them stand out as a retail shop? So this is a retail shop, and then what the first thing they did was that they invested in data-driven marketing. All right. So this is like you are doing a market research. So you need to do a market research, and then at the same time they do product development. All right. This is the time where most businesses are reducing cost, are cutting innovations. Okay, they are not innovating. But because Walmart is thinking strategically and thinking long term, Walmart decided to do investment in data driven marketing. That is, they invested in market research and then they do product development. All right. And this is what they found. All right. So they find out that their report and insight highlighted that the consumers were browsing less. Okay. They stick to their shopping list. So in a recessionary period, people will say, I don't want to buy what I don't need. They don't walk around the store so that they don't see something that attracts their attention or catches their fancy or tickles their fancy. And they say, I need this, I need to buy that. Most especially as a father or as a mom with a toddler. And then you take your toddler to uh for example, a retail store, a retail outlet. And then when they get to the store, for example, the Walmart that they say is in Abuja. And then when they get to the store, because they're walking around with your toddler, then the toddler is like, Mommy, I want that. Daddy, I want this. I like this. Can you buy it for me? My friends told me something like that. So to avoid this kind of scenario, to avoid this kind of stories that touch, they only go directly to what they want to buy. They have their list written down, okay, and then they go directly to this section that sells this kind of good in the store. All right. So they don't have to walk around to do different kind of shopping. And then at the same time, there is a less brand loyalty. Okay. So at that point, consumers are not receptive to brand. All right. What they want is, I want a good that can serve this purpose, that can solve this particular problem for me at this point in time. I don't care who produced this output. All right. So, and at the same time, they see that they saw that the consumers were stretching their dollar by purchasing more pasta. So stretching dollar means, in this case, by purchasing more, it means that they purchase goods that, for example, you have different kind of um um what's it called? Is it spaghetti or something? All right. So you of pasta. Okay, they have different kind of pasta. All right, so they go for the cheaper ones and not the ones that they will usually have if they want to buy pasta. All right, so something like that. So this thing might be the same way for you if you are operating in a retail outlet. Okay, if you are operating a retail shop, you sell different kinds of provisions. This might be something you who want to invest in at this point in time. You want to find out what are the things that your consumers are actually doing, and then you can do a product development. And in this kind of situation, as a retail outlet, product development can be you bundle goods together. All right, you bundle different kind of packages. Okay, for example, this is a Christmas period. People will want to do gifts, they want to give gifts to their loved ones, something like that. You can do like a basket. I know this is definitely not something out of this world, but it's a way of innovation. Do a bundle of different kind of good that you know that people can buy at that point in time, or you know that people want to do. Okay, it's a festive period. They want to cook for their family. Okay, what are the things that people will need? Definitely, they want to buy rice. They want to buy vegetable oil and other stuff like that. So everything to make jollof rice or everything that is needed to make fried rice, you can package it into a bundle, right? You can package them into a bundle and then sell it at, like, for example, an wholesale price. That can attract your customers and then they can buy more, and this can be seen as product development. So the next thing they did, and after doing that, is that Walmart then doubled down on their take and big advertising campaign and offer a home entertainment product. This is because they find out that people actually staying at home, because it's not expensive for people to go out okay, to go enjoy themselves outside because of the recession that they have is obtainable in the economy. So people prefer to stay at home instead of going to the cinema to watch a movie. They watch Netflix in their home. They watch YouTube. By the way, I watched um movie by Bimbo Ademoye, Homecoming. Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. I recommend it for you to watch. It's a good movie for you to relax during this festive period. All right. After you have done your planning for next year. Okay. As you are doing that, you are doing your planning for next year. Don't just relax. Make sure that you set your goal for next year. And then you can also do a little bit of relaxation for the period by chilling, to bond with your family. Anyways, so they do this as a big advertising campaign, and that helps them to increase their sales. So, and then instead of slashing their marketing budget, they calibrated their spending to deliver maximum growth. All right. So these are all the things that the title of the movie is Homecoming. Homecoming. Homecoming by Bimbo Ademoye is actually on her YouTube channel. So you can find that on the YouTube channel. Bimbo Ademoye on Bimbo Ademoye TV on YouTube. All right, so this is what Walmart did that helps Walmart to survive the recessionary period. And this is what I believe most businesses should be doing that could help them to survive the recessionary period. All right. So now let's go ahead and the final tips that I said you should not miss. So in recessionary period, okay, in recessionary period, what are the things that you should do? If you want to start your business, what is it that you should to get into a business? For example, if you're a freelancer, how do you get into a business? And if you're already in business, how do you grow your business in this recessionary period? Or how do you consolidate on your business such that after the recession has gone, okay, you can keep your operation at the pace that you are operating before the recession, or you can even grow more than what you have been doing before the recession. Okay, great. Someone put the link of Homecoming in the chat box already. If you want to get that, you can get it. All right. So, what should you do to get into the business? Number one is change your perspective and mindset about the recession period. So, like we said before, take care, take heed of what you listen to. Okay, take heed of the news you feed on. Take heed of the people you hang around. Is it the people that are always complaining about tipping, 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 and then they always, bundle you down with problems that are in the economy, such that it doesn't allow you to see the opportunity in the problems that we have in the economy right now. All right. So change your perspective, change your mindset. Okay. You can start your business in this time right now. All right. But it has to do with the mindset. What do you see? Okay. Whatever you set your mind on is what you will achieve. Like Mr. Theodora was saying, he was talking about focus, that focus causes blindness. Whatever you focus your mind on, you know, amplified. Okay, the way to give life to something is to put your attention on it. And this is the concept of meditation. So why do we reach meditation in, for example, in Christianity? Because when you focus your attention on something, it gets to expand. You are giving life to it. You are drawing the substance of what is embedded in that thing when you focus your attention on that. And then this shapes the way you think. And because of the way you are thinking is being shaped, the state is shaped the way you talk. And whatever you say, it's what you see in your life or what you see around you. All right. Whatever you say is what you see. So the way to give life to things is to constantly thinking about them, and this will affect what you say. And of course, if you say it, the Bible says that the life and death are in the power of the tongue. All right. So if you don't change your mindset, you will not change the way you talk. And this might be dragging your business down. This might be dragging yourself as an individual down, and you have to change that. And one way to change this is, to do this next thing, which is to invest in yourself. And that's why I appreciate the fact that all of you are in this training. Investing in yourself and invest in your team. You know, go for trainings like this where you rub minds with people that will help you to see the opportunity that are embedded in the economy right now, not the people that are helping you to focus on the problem and then you forget the opportunity that could be embedded in this problem. So the way to do this is to invest in yourself, read more, go to trainings, you know, watch documentaries that incite you, look at, for example, I just mentioned Walmart, how Walmart did. You can go online and then study how did Walmart actually still through this recession period. I was trying to find a company in Nigeria that have a documented action plan that they did during a recession, but I didn't find. So that's why I had to include Walmart in my slide. All right. So yeah, something like that. You can do a research, do a research and then find out what it is that businesses can do that can help them to, that can help them to scale through a recession. All right. So that's how to invest in yourself. And then the next thing is that you must be a long-term thinker. Don't be a short-term thinker. So do not be a short-term thinker. If you are a short-term thinker, then you want to cut costs now. And that is what most businesses do, that when they cut costs, they cut back on their operations. Then they never get back to operate at the full capacity they are operating in before the recession starts. All right. So, but if you're a long-term thinker, if before the recession starts, okay, before even there is a recession at all, you've been thinking long-term. So you have been putting in place structures, you'll be putting in place systems that will help you to operate over the long haul. And then when the recession comes, it's easier for you to draw on the systems and structures you have put in place already to be able to sustain yourself and beyond the recession period. And then you can see that a lot of people grow more in the recession period than even that their business grew during the upcycle of the economy. This is because they are long-term thinker, right? They have anticipated situations like this, and then they have put in place systems and structure that will help them to sustain their business come rain, come shine. So you should be a long-term thinker. Think long-term, not short-term. As a business owner, as an investor, whatever you are doing, always have this long-term perspective. Short-term perspective on instant gratification kills a lot of idea, kills a lot of people's dream, kills a lot of businesses. Don't let this be your portion. Think long-term. Long-term is very essential. All right. I can't emphasize that enough. All these 3 points that I've mentioned are very critical at this point in time. And then the next thing is that you should build your front end pipeline. What do I mean by front end pipeline? Front end pipeline is your branding and the marketing plan. All right. Front end is the way what the consumers get to see, how you get to acquire consumers. That's what I mean by front end pipeline. You want to do your customer segmentation, or your customer, you want to study what your customer are looking for. You want to study who are your ideal customer. You want to study how do your customer, your client interact with your brand, interact with your business. This, and then this will help you to build a platform. This will help you to build a front end pipeline that will help you to bring that consumers into your business. All right. And so let's emphasize more on that. So the first thing you need to do to build your front end pipeline is to do customer segmentation during a recession. Now, this is a framework by Harvard Business School. All right. So Harvard Business School separates three consumers into these four categories during a recession. There are consumers who want to slam on the brakes. What do we mean by slamming on the brakes? They just don't want to do anything. Okay, at that point in time, they are the ones who are being hit the most financially during the the recession. So they feel most vulnerable, and then others eat during the financial. So they don't have anything to spend. There are those people who have spent all they have during the upcycle, and then they did not plan for the rainy day. And then now they don't have anything to spend. So you need to identify this kind of consumers. And then there is another consumers who are paid but patient. All right. They are optimistic in the long term, but now they need to survive in the short term. All right. So they are worried about their ability to be able to maintain their standard of living in the short term, even though they are very optimistic about their long-term view. Right. They are very optimistic about what happens to them in the long run, but in the short run, their standard of living is in jeopardy. Right. So they are concerned about how to skate through these economic hurdle, right? And then the next people are the comfortably well off. For the comfortably well off, they feel secure about their ability to ride out the current and the future bump in the economy. So their spending habits will not change. All right. So these are this kind of consumers that come rain, come shine. They have their structure in place. They have everything in place for them. They've planned for the raining day already. So the economy changes does not affect them. Okay, the up cycle in the economy, the down cycle in the economy does not affect them. They still live their life the way they live it, whether there is a recession or not. And then there are other people, they just live for today. All right. These people, they don't have a structure, they don't have a plan, but their own is as it come, now so we go spend that. Now where man work now in the shop. These are the kind of people. All right. These are the kind of people like I don't care, you know, um, what's that song? I forgot the song. I don't care about what happens tomorrow. Make I live today. Make I chop my money. Let me chop my money today. These are the kind of people they don't care about what happens. So this you need to study the consumer behavior, your consumer behavior, your client's behavior. You need to study it, and then you need to be able to place each of your consumers or each of the consumer segments you have into these four categories. Which category are they? Are they those people who will change their behavior so much when there's recession, or are they the people who will not change their behavior during a recession period? All right. So from the high of change to the low of change of their behavior as consumers. So first thing you need to do is to do this. Find out which consumer segment do you have. Hopefully you don't have consumers. All right. Your targeted audience are not people of this area who are going to change a lot during a recession. Okay, so I hope you will have people at different points of these different consumer behavior, right? Or I hope you have clients, you have consumers at these different touch points, right? So the next thing you need to do is to study your customer journey. How do your customer actually interact with your how do your customer interact with your brand? All right. This will help you to create a lovable customer experience, which will help you build a loyal customer. All right, we help you build loyal customers. So the journey will start from awareness. So what you need to do to make your client or your consumers to be aware of your business, these are the things you need to do, and then they move from awareness to consideration. That's where they are considering, okay, I like this product, should I buy it or not? All right. And then they make their decision, and then they want to buy. At that point in time, they buy the product, and then after buying the product, they use it, they like it, they love the feel that they have interacting with your brand, and then they come back every time. All right. And then of course you have to ensure that they always coming back to you, whether to buy the same product or to buy other type of products. Right. So how do you do this? Then these are the things you need to put in place for your consumers to be able to ensure that they come back every time. So this is what we refer to as customers experience. This is how you make your customer feels when they have interaction with your brand, when they have interaction with your business, when they have interaction with you as a business, because you are actually the business or one of the businesses or one of the you are your business. Okay, let's put it that way. All right. So that's the way it is. All right. And the next thing is audit your offering. So what are the type of offerings that you have as a business? Number one are the essentials. All right. You need to know categorize, if you have different kind of product lines, what are the essential goods that people have to buy at this point? These are the essentials. Then the next one is the treats. These are the indulge whose indulgence, whose immediate purchase is considerable, justifiable. All right, people want to buy that, just to treat themselves. I just achieve a goal. Okay, let me take myself out. Or let me buy this thing for myself. Do you have that kind of product that people see as treat when they want to treat themselves good? Then other products are the postponables. The postponables are the needs or desire item that whose purchase can be reasonably put off. Okay, they can delay this kind of purchase till sometimes later. All right, and then the last one is the expendables. The expendables are the things that people say that this one, not this time. Traveling, for vacation. Maybe some people at this time they will not be able to travel for vacation because of the situation in the economy. All right. So if you have not planned for this from January up to now as a family vacation, you might not be able to do it because of the situation of things as an increase in the cost of transportation, increase in the prices of things. So differentiate or segment your output or your products, your offerings, what you do as a brand and what product or services you offer. Segregate them into the essential, the treat, the postponables, and the expendables. All right. And once you do this, the last part would then be you need to do the recession product market risk matrix. All right. Now, this is a matrix that you put the products that you have, okay, uh your product to essential, treats, postponable, the expendables, and then your consumers. So these are your products, these are your consumers. The consumers that they have been able to profile, and then you have been able to categorize them into different kinds of categories, and then you want to serve the consumers in this green box. All right, these are the stable markets. So your consumers and your products should be in these areas. So if you're selling a product in this area, essential, okay, live for today, comfortably well off consumers, pained but patient consumers, slam on the brake consumers who want to buy, then you are not a business that will be affected by recession. All right. And also, if it is a treat and then they live for today, these people, they just want to enjoy themselves. And then I can't kill myself, or I just, they just want to enjoy themselves. They can't kill themselves. And you have a business that will not be affected during the recession. And then the next one are the mixed market. The mixed market is the treat, all right, and you know, will be affected a little by recession. These people will not want to spend so much in recession. They don't want to buy this type of product in recession, all right, but they will still have to buy it because they don't have options. Some might be able to delay it, some will have to buy it at this point in time. So this also type of businesses or this type of consumers, if they are serving them, will not really change their behavior during the recession period. But you see, these red ones, those are the goods you need to have. So in a recession period, if let's say you have a product line that has all of these as a characteristics, okay, then it means that what you should focus on pushing, okay, what you should focus on doing marketing for will be these ones. All right. You should market this type of products essentially to your consumers. All right. So this is what I really want to share with you, today. And the practical session that we want to have is this. But before I go into the practical session, may I have your questions coming in? Any question, please?
Wow, Mr. Joshua, this is information overload. As in, I don't know how many of you have been writing, but I've been writing and writing and writing. And it's amazing to know that the best time to start your business is during the recession. Do we have any questions before we go ahead? By the way, let me help you sing that song. This life, I can't keep myself. Oh. I can't keep myself. Oh. I can't keep myself. Oh. Allow me to flex. Oh. That's the song you've been
Yes,
looking for.
yeah.
So
Yes,
do we have any questions or should we go to the assignments? Any questions, please? Or you're still processing it? You know, when you don't give feedback, the teacher is not happy that everywhere is silent after such a powerful and insightful session. So please say something, let him know you have been here with him. Okay, please, Damilula, we've been asking for questions. So let's try to ask the questions on time so that we can go to the next session. All right, go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to appreciate Ms. Theodora for this powerful business class. And I also want to appreciate our speakers since I've learned a lot. Now, my name is Milola Bisola, and I sell the essential goods.
Can you hear
sell
her?
edibles.
I'm
Problems
losing
of
her.
business reduction in. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay. Now you said one of the disadvantage of economic recession is there will be decreased consumer spending. So consumers will not spend more. And I have this fear, I don't know, that because of the recession, despite that it's still essential goods, the rates of sales or turnover will still be low. So I don't know how to actually, are you assuring us or you are telling us that despite recession, people will still buy essential goods? It will not still affect sales of the goods?
The answer is yes. For example,
Sir,
food.
let me
For
say
example,
let me say give you an example, sir.
yeah, food.
I
You just mentioned
said
food.
vegetable oil.
Okay.
I said earlier, I had sales, but when granite oil was now became very expensive, I had a decline in sales. People were telling me that they had to switch to palm oil, that they will stop using vegetable oil and now switch to palm oil. So what will I do in such a situation? Am I also going to switch over to palm oil that I have not been selling before? So because of the switching to palm oil, I experienced a drastic low in my sales, which affected or is even affecting my business right now. So what will you encourage me to do, sir?
Oh, you mean you switched to palm oil, and after
No,
switching, you were
my
experiencing
consumers, my clients, my customers,
want palm oil, but you
they
sell
switched.
vegetable oil.
Yes, they switched to palm oil because of increase in price of vegetable oil.
Yeah, yeah. So um palm oil and vegetable oil are still substitutes. Okay, and this is why people have to switch from consuming vegetable oil to consuming palm oil. All right. Yeah. Palm oil and vegetable oil are both essential, but because they are also substitutes to one another. In fact, very close substitutes. Okay. So this is why it's easier for them to be able to switch. And you have the feedback you want already. Okay, you have the marketing research for free you want already. So you know that your consumers actually want palm oil. So if you have not been selling palm oil before, this is a good time to join those who are selling palm oil, because there is you're not diverting your attention, okay, from your core competence, from your product line that you sell. Like I said, they are substitutes. They are two goods that you can use interchangeably, okay, and even sometimes consumers you use it together. I remember growing up, sometimes my mom will use palm oil, a little of palm oil and a little of vegetable oil. So she pours the palm oil into the fire first and allow it to thin out, and then she, pour the vegetable oil to mix together. In fact, I believe that the taste of both is even more sweeter than when you use either. Okay, so just for reference, but I'm saying in this case that you have already feedback you should be looking out for from your consumer. They said they want palm oil. I think you should also include palm oil. If you have not, or if you are selling palm oil before, but you don't have a lot, then you should buy more of palm oil so that they can patronize you. So if they come buy palm oil from you, then this is an opportunity for you to be able to introduce other things to them. All right. But if you don't have what they're looking for, you lose them already. Okay. Then it means that they go to the next store to buy what they're looking for. Okay. Which is not different from what you should have been selling, because like I said, it's not far-fetched. Um there is no too it's not too distant from the product line you're already selling. All right, sell the palm oil because that's what they are looking for right now, and that will help you to be able to retain your customer, and it will help you to grow your business also, even though it's in a recession. So please, I would advise that you include palm oil in your product line.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Secondly, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. This last chart on the screen, like we have 4 different types of products: essentials,
Yes.
treats, postponables, and expendables. Is it
Yes.
possible for someone like a business owner, an entrepreneur, to actually have a business in all these 4 types of products and still be successful in it? Like, can I sell essential goods? Can I still go for treats, then postponables, then expendables? The reason why I want to go into all this for is that when one is not bringing much income, I can move to the other, get more income from treats, then get more income from postponables and expendables. I don't know. Did you get the question?
I get your question. All right. I think I will refer back to what Miss Theodora said before she introduced me about Dangote. You see, um, what we know Dangote for growing up is Dangote sugar, Dangote cement. But right now, Dangote is doing refinery, is producing oil. So now we have Dangote petrol. All right. But before Dangote switched to petrol, Dangote's sugar starts first. Then it moves into refinery. I mean, cement. All right. And then from cement into refinery. So now, first of all, let's try to classify these 3 goods. Sugar, is it something that people we always need in the time of recession? For example, someone wants to take tea. Okay. Normally they like to use sugar when they want to take tea, but now sugar is expensive, although it's not, that expensive. But at this time at this time, what type of good do you think sugar is going to be? Can it be postponed or is expendable? Let me just give you those two. These two, that's where sugar will be right now. All right, because you can drink your tea without having sugar. All right, you don't necessarily have to have sugar, or you can put a little bit of sugar. Now, how about cement? You want to build a house, okay? If you want to build a house, of course, definitely you need cement. So the thing you want to do is that you will not want to build a house. You want to postpone building a house right now that are, oh, okay, let me soft pedal on building a house. So also that can be here. But then let's now use somebody, a retailer who is, for example, someone who is baking. Okay, the person who is baking, no matter what, we still use sugar, right? So at that point in time, sugar becomes an essential that the person has to buy. So the answer is it's better for you to have all these line of products. And that also still emphasize the point of having different source of income, or different channels of income. But before you do that, it's better you consolidate on an aspect of your business first that you have been able to think you master, how you know the tricks, the gimmicks of that aspect of your business, and then you have a system and structure in place. Then you can move over to another aspect, okay, and then move over to another product, and then move to another product line. So that is how you can do it. Yes, the answer will be, for me, yes, you should have different kind of product line, but don't do it all at once if you don't have the capacity for it. In fact, don't do it all at once. Do it one after the other. After you've mastered one, transit to the other one. That's what I would say.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your response.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
All right, I think we're far behind schedule. Let's take the assignment so we can go to the next session. If there are still any other questions, please send it to the mail and he will get it and he will respond to you.
Yeah, so the question is, conduct a brand and offering audit for your business and create your own recession product market matrix. So basically, I'm just asking you to do from here, where you do categorize your customer, know your thought, the customer journey, and then categorize your goods, and then do this. All right. So this will help you to be able to know what to focus on. So in this type of time of the business, you should be pushing this type of products to your consumers. All right. So that's the assignment. Yeah. So that's the assignment. And with that,
All right, thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Mr. Joshua. Someone says information overload, and there's two